listeners and viewers. Welcome to Kaduna State Ministry of Education Radio and TV e-learning program designed for our SS3 and other students staying at home due to the coronavirus pandemic. The present administration, under the able leadership of His Excellency, Malam Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai, is positioned, as always, to ensure that under his leadership, our students are not left behind in all areas of human endeavors, especially education. Kaduna State is the center of learning. Therefore, we want to ensure that our students excel in their forthcoming examinations and beyond. Students and other learners at home are given this opportunity in order to continue learning, as education is a continuous process. Different subjects will be taught in this program to assist students to perform excellently in the forthcoming Senior School Certificate examination being conducted by NECO and WAEC as soon as schools reopen. Teachers making presentations will always provide their names and phone numbers during each presentation, and they can be contacted for questions, further explanations, and/or clarifications. The following numbers and contacts can also be reached for expression of any concern or observation: 090-865-00545 or 080-383-62072. Our website is www.education.kdsg.gov.ng. Our email education@kdsg.gov.ng or education.kdsg@gmail.com. Our YouTube channel, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Our Twitter handle @Kaduna_MOE. Or our Facebook page, Ministry of Education, Kaduna State. Stay safe, stay at home, and learn well. Thank you, happy listening, and happy viewing.
Hello learners, welcome to Home Management class. My name is Saratu Ishaya, and today we're going to be studying a topic: child development. Child development. Every child passes through different stages of development. This development is patterned and each stage marked by certain characteristic features in varying rates. Every child passes through different stages of development, and each stage of development is characterized by certain features that we hope to learn as we progress. It is important to understand the pattern, as it enables us to detect when a child deviates from the normal pattern and solution sought at an early stage. Now, it is very, very important to understand the pattern, as it enables us, as the child progresses, so that whenever there's any deviation, we're able to detect it, and then if there's any solution that can be given to that problem, then at an early stage it can actually be done perfectly. Now, growth and development. A child grows in size, height, and weight, which are measured in meters and kilograms. So the child grows in size. You find out they'll tell you, you're growing bigger, you're growing taller, you're growing fatter. Now, it is always measured either in meters or kilograms. Thus, growth can be explained as the increase in physical size of the whole body or any of its parts. Growth can simply be explained as the increase in physical size of the whole body or any of its parts. While when we talk about development, is the increase in skills and complexity of function. That is, if a child is trying to get hold of a toy, holding up his head, being able to use his eyes, etc. In other words, growth refers to quantitative changes, while development is qualitative changes. Now, growth has to do with what we see physically, that is your height, how big you are. But now, so we talk about quantity, while the quality of that growth, what comes out of you, what is that thing that you have learned that people can actually see apart from the physical? It tells you what type of development that is there. Now, principles of development. 1, it is predictable and follows a definite pattern. There are periods of rapid development which are followed by periods of slow development stages. The development process includes the prenatal period, infancy, early and late childhood, and puberty. Now, what am I trying to say here? It is predictable because the moment you give birth to a child, the baby is small. At another stage, you call that child an infant, from 0 to 1. We have early and late childhood, that is toddlers. Then you have children that are about 5 to 10 and the rest. Then we have children that are teenagers. So that is how growth proceeds from one stage to another. 2, it progresses in a cephalocoidal direction. In a cephalocoidal direction. That is, it means it starts from the head and spreads all over the body. The child first gets control of his eyes, then the head, followed by arms, trunk, and legs. Now, what am I trying to say? When a baby is born, the first thing you see is that when an object passes, especially if it's bright, the child follows with the eye. It means the eyesight of the child follows whatever direction that light is going. So it means it starts from the head. Then it follows gradually to the other parts of the body. 3, development proceeds from the central axis of the body to the extremities. Thus, a child uses his arms before his hands, then his fingers. What am I trying to say here? When you lie a newborn baby down on the bed, the first thing as the baby grows older, the baby will move his arms from the body maybe to the outer part of the bed and then back. Gradually, the baby will now lift his hands, and then the next thing, but even after the baby is lifting his hands, the fingers are not coordinated. It cannot grab any object. But gradually, the next step is that the baby can now use the fingers as it grabs toys or other objects. So it means it starts from inside and then it moves outside. 4, developmental changes are orderly and progressive in a normal child. Now underline the word normal. It means it progresses. The changes are progressive from one stage to another. A child is expected to be able to sit first, then the baby will crawl, then the baby will stand, and then walk. So the first thing you expect is that you start teaching the baby how to sit. Then after a while, when the baby can sit on his own, then the baby starts learning how to crawl. Then when the baby has learned how to crawl to a particular level, then the baby will now start learning how to lean on an object, a table or chair, and then learn how to stand. Then the next thing is that the baby will now learn how to walk. So we say it is orderly and progressive in a normal child. There's always a definite relationship between a given stage, the preceding one, and that which follows. So it moves from one stage to another and it's always linked. But now at this point, when I get to the fifth one, you understand that there is individual difference. Some children develop at a fast rate, while others at a slow rate. You find that some children, after they start sitting, the next thing, they will just crawl, or some will not even crawl. They'll start standing, and the next thing, they walk. So each child has its own rate at which the development follows. Therefore, children of the same age may differ in their pattern of behavior and rate of development. Therefore, children of the same age may differ in their pattern of behavior and rate of development. So it's very wrong for you to start comparing children, that this one can actually walk before you, or you, why can't you walk now? Do this or do that. So please, let's follow the children at their own rate. Now, factors that influence development. There are definitely some factors that influence development. One, heredity. This is the combination of the physical, mental, and emotional characteristics which a child obtains from his parents right from conception. Now you find out when a child is born, at a point, some will say, you're growing so tall. Yeah, that height is like his father. You are so fat, you are so slim, like your mother. Oh, the color of her eyes are like that of the father or mother. So there are things that we inherit from our parents. It could be emotional things, the traits we get from them. You cry so easily, you are too emotional like your father, or you are too emotional like your mother. Then mental, it could tell you that he is as intelligent as his father. He's as intelligent as his mother. Environment. This includes all the conditions, the circumstances, and influences surrounding and affecting the development of a child. The environment plays a major role in the development of every child. These conditions stem from the home, school, and society. From the environment comes such factors as 1. Good nutrition. Now, this good nutrition simply means the kind of food we give our children in our homes. It doesn't necessarily have to be very, 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 maybe a rich meal, but in as much as you can, please try to provide the right meal in a balanced proportion. in such a way that you don't have to, if you cannot afford animal protein, which is maybe meat, any kind of meat, you can substitute with plant protein, maybe soya milk, soya beans, or the ordinary beans that we all know. We have our carbohydrates. We have our rice, we have yam, we have potato, we have our vegetables, we have fruits. Now mango is in season, so you can actually get this mango for your children and give them so that they can be able to get this nutrition to help them in their development. Love. The child needs to feel loved and wanted. It enables him to trust, to feel trusted and encouraged. Now, if a child grows up in a hostile home where there's always quarrel, people insulting one another, the parents are not living in peace, it affects the development of that child. As the child grows, as far as the child is concerned, that is how the whole world is. And now when the child gets to school, the child tends to behave that way. So it is very important that we make our home, that is why we call it a home. It is not a house. A home should be conducive for the child to grow and to develop properly, where love is the order of the day. And as you love that child, when the child comes back from school, do you inquire the assignment that has been given to the child? Do you ask the child what he or she needs, what you can actually need? Or you just pretend? And if you don't do it for that child, the child has where to go to. And by the time, if the child might go to the wrong place and may pay a price that at the end will affect the whole family and society at large. C. Good care. The infant depends on the adult to meet his needs. Meeting the needs effectively and promptly aids the child's development. Now, the infant is just growing, cannot do anything on his or her own. So the infant depends solely on the parents. If you can actually meet the needs of the infant at that point, or as the child is growing, then you help the child in that development. You know, as the child grows, some parents cannot even teach their children common bowel control. And what do we mean by that? How to tell you, I want to pee or I want to poo-poo. You teach the child, explain to the child, and when the child does anything, you help the child understand what he or she is supposed to do. As the child grows, you find out that, let's assume we have candle or a lamp that is hot or iron, and the child is crawling towards that iron. You tell the child, this thing is hot. At times what parents do, they will take the hand of the child or the finger and just touch that hot object. When it burns the child, they now warn that child that this thing is hot. The moment that child crawls and gets close to any object and you say hot, the child withdraws and runs away. Gradually, the child understands what it means to have good care. Good school. When the child is old enough to go to school, the school should provide him with an environment that stimulates his physical, mental, emotional, and social abilities. Now, the moment a child grows and is of school age, when you take that child to school, you don't only teach that child how to read or write. The child might come maybe from a home that there's no peace. The moment you see that child in the class withdrawn, as a teacher, you get that child very close to you, ask that child questions. From there, you will be able to help that child. And you should be able to provide social amenities, maybe games and sports that can actually help the child to develop in the school. Society. The society is the widest environment. It helps shape his development and provide many opportunities which help broaden a child's cultural outlook. It helps him learn those things which school and home do not teach. Now, if you find yourself in a particular society, we have cultural beliefs, we have norms, we have other things that we learn in our society. Let's take an instance. If you live in a society where, as a girl, when you wake up in the morning, you pray. After prayers, you do your house chores, you go out. Now, as you're going out, maybe you are asked, these are the kind of clothes you're supposed to wear as a girl. If the society is like that, then you have to learn to adapt to that kind of culture. And you do exactly how it is so that you now become a different person in the society. And that is why when you have the wrong set of people outside, like I said earlier on, if the parents are not ready to give them that care in the home, there are people outside in the society. You have your peer groups there, you have friends. Some of them go out. It is when they go out of the home that they learn how to smoke, they learn how to drink, learn how to steal, and do other awful things that at the end will become a problem, not just to the society, even the parents, and everybody will suffer loss. Disease. Long and prolonged disease can affect the normal development of a child. It is important, therefore, that parents be vigilant enough to identify diseases early enough so that prompt medical attention can be obtained. I'll pause here and say something. Now we have different kinds of diseases. You find out these days when we have intended couples, they'll ask them to go for different tests, especially maybe for genotype, to know their genotype, either they are AA or they are AS, finally, or SS. Now, if you have AS and you want to get married to the other partner, if the person is AS, it is advisable that please do not get married. Because when you bring up your children or when you give birth to your children and you have a child that is SS, I tell you the psychological trauma is so much that you wish you didn't go ahead to do it. And it might interest you to know, at the beginning we were told that the first filial generation, if you have 4 children, that maybe just 1 out of that 4 may have SS. But these days you find out you have 4 children or you have 3 children, 2 out of those children have SS. So I beg you, if there's any way when your parents tell you not to go ahead, I beg you, try and listen. It is important to note that if these children are born and this sickness continues, it can lead to retarded growth. You find out that such children are not as big as their own mates, and it's because of sickness. You find out that at the end of the day, you as a parent, your finances will be going down the drain because you have to use it on medical. So it is very proper that you avoid such situations. Now, I'm going to leave you with an assignment. 1, Differentiate between growth and development. Differentiate between growth and development. 2A. List and explain any 3 principles of development. Again, list and explain any 3 principles of development. B. List and explain the factors that influence child development. Again, list and explain the factors that influence child development. I'll take the assignment again. 1. Differentiate between growth and development. 2A. List and explain any 3 principles of development. 2B. List and explain the factors that influence child development. You can get me on this number through WhatsApp or SMS 080-6573-1058. Again, 080-6573-1058. Remember, coronavirus is real. Stay home, stay safe.